Greetings, perverts! We're back with another pervy, smutty title from Japan, and this is a 2-in-1. Not based on the game, the anime, or the 1927 movie of the same name, Dokuro is, surprise surprise, set in a high school with a bunch of oversexed teenage girls flashing quality assets. Wow, that sounded perverted. Perfect for this video then. Hi, I'm the Artie Dans and welcome to the Smut Files, and we're going to take a look at the double feature, Dokuro Acts 1 and 2. Set in an all-girls high school where only the hot girls are allowed to attend, a bunch of students made up of real-life music idols, AV stars, and softcore models decide to stage a play based on Romeo and Juliet. This is their first mistake. They should have picked Tromeo and Juliet, as there are far more sexy scenes in that source material than the Bard's original. Not understanding what was being said, it felt like most of these girls, other than the ones who have sex with each other, don't actually like one another. One of the girls goes urban exploring and comes across a spooky and abandoned building, but goes into hiding when 3 other girls, one of them who's playing Juliet, also goes exploring for props. After they retrieve a box of skulls, a mysterious figure is awoken in the building. While having dinner that night, one of the girls retells a tale about a previous Romeo and Juliet performance where a masked killer, who I think is called Dokuro, murders the cast. And of course, this freaks out the girls. Is the mysterious figure the original killer? And what will happen to these girls after they've had their sex and nude scenes? Who knows? And for those interested in the little details, one of the girls plays Romeo. I gotta tell you this straight away, but the first thing you'll see when watching both of these movies is a splash screen for a production company called Hot Tomato Come. Yeah. And secondly, there was no English subtitles for this, so I had to guess certain plot lines. But let's be honest, we don't need no stinking subtitles for this filth fest, do we? No sir! The movie is shot cheaply, but with an emphasis on angles. The director is a connoisseur of culture. It also takes only 90 seconds for the first booby grope and lesbian one-on-one scene. Honestly, when a movie starts like this, the emphasis on storyline is not the primary focus. For those only watching this for the nudity, and that's most of you because I could imagine you don't care too much about Romeo and Juliet, it takes a little while to get to the first bit of skin. The journey there is quite fun though. Lots of panties, bras, leering and staring at flat stomachs and girls with lust in their eyes. And like I said, you really have to wait to see the first bit of actual flesh beyond panties and bras. Firstly, for those guys out there who need some advice on French kissing, check out the scene at the 31-minute mark. That'll give you some good tips. And then obviously keep watching, as the uncomfortable looking making out while standing up scene near a bunch of garbage bags very slowly turns into a proper girl on girl scene, where you are finally presented with your very first kill of the movie. Yes, after a ridiculously long makeout scene of over 5 minutes, where you see a white panties ass for about 30 seconds, the scene ends with a damn kill. I know it's a horror movie, but far out, show me some skin first before killing the girl. Okay, the movie and I have teased you long enough. The first actual boob you'll see is at the 40-minute mark in the obligatory shower scene. She soaps herself up, but there's no running water. They do things differently in Japan, perhaps. Also, does Japan allow schoolgirls to get breast implants? I'm just asking for a friend. Like most of the pervy scenes in this movie, this is probably longer than it needs to be, but at least your patience is rewarded, unless you're here for the bloodlust, then the scene before had you covered. Then for the rest of the 2 films, you get a schoolgirl with male teacher sex scene. Again, probably too long and weirdly placed in the first film with that creepy mask in the same shot as a great set of fun bags. The same girl then gets her top cut open by the masked killer, who also cuts half of her boob off. And finally, another girl who also gets her top cut open and then has her chest stared at by the killer, obviously impressed by what he sees, and then he decides he wants to stick his little guy inside her while she bleeds out. Very unsexy, by the way, and far too long a scene. For a horror film though, the kills are very quick and not gory until you're shown the aftermath. Then it looks like the prop crew just went nuts with the fake blood over the girl's skin and clothes. This applies only to part 1. Part 2 is surprisingly gory. Strangely though, it would seem the print of the movies that I watched and is widely available online is a censored copy, where the blood and certain kills are blurred out, such as this decapitation. This is both very annoying and very immersion breaking. However, the blurring doesn't seem consistent across the two films. Now I know this will sound weird, but I actually found some of the non-sexual camera work, music, and settings to be genuinely spooky. It felt like the director really wanted to make a proper horror film, but could only get funding from an AV company who wanted it to be as smutty and pervy as possible, while still being able to be watched by its target audience without heavy restrictions. Some of the music even seems to be lightly inspired by The Nightmare on Elm Street. But the second part just falls to shit though, as it fails to maintain the atmosphere of the first part. Just like the last movie we looked at, Oh Invisible Man, the movie's atmosphere also suffers due to the tiny cast. The school doesn't feel like it has life, but unlike that film, at least the classrooms and school grounds feel real, with crap everywhere. It makes it feel like real students could actually attend the place if there wasn't a softcore horror movie being filmed there. Can I just mention that in this scene, instead of jumping on the floor with her friend and crawling slowly away from the killer, why the hell didn't she just grab her friend and actually run away? Ugh, Japanese horror characters are just as annoying as Western ones. But like Oh Invisible Man, the girls that you want to see naked never get their clothes off. Cool mask though. This two-part softcore sexy slasher horror film probably satisfies a strange audience that sits somewhere between these two genres, like you, because you watch this wanting to know more, right? I really dislike the whole idea of splitting it up into two parts though. The story itself could have been done easily in an 80-minute film, but it's obvious there was a lot of sexual scenes that were filmed, and instead of just cutting them down, the producers have decided to leave them in as long as possible without driving the audience to boredom. It's especially more annoying when both parts are really only 58 minutes long, and they both end with a 20-minute behind the scenes photo shoot and making of video clip. Because it's almost difficult to get bored watching two stunning girls make out. Almost, but it is possible. So I say watch these movies on 2x speed. You'll still get the idea of what's going on, and the sexy bits will still be long enough for your hand to enjoy. Otherwise, it's a bit boring. If you've seen this, what did you think? Thank you for watching this video. Please press the like button if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.